Guys, I have a confession to make. I spend way too much time staring at screens, computer, phone, TV. I'm always looking at something, even before I go to sleep. It turns out the blue light emitted from those devices was causing digital eye strain and was affecting my sleep. You may be in the same position. Blue light damages our eyes and can lead to blurred vision, headaches, dryness, or watery eyes. For some, exposure to blue light can even cause heightened anxiety, depression, or low energy. BlueBlox was created to change this with high-quality lenses made in a specialized optics laboratory in Australia. Their 40 frames come in prescription, non-prescription, and readers, so you'll find exactly what you need. Go to blueblox.com/Chael. That's BlueBlox, BLUBLOX.com/Chael. Use the promo code Chael at checkout. That's going to save you 20% and get you free shipping worldwide, or just click in the link below. Guys, I told a story. I did a year in review recap for UFC Fight Pass. I told a story, and so many of you went and watched it, and I appreciate that, but I've been asked to tell the story again, and a little bit of behind the scenes. I hate to tell you guys behind the scenes stories. You want to know why? I feel as though when I say I'm behind the scenes, I feel like there's an arrogance within that state. Like we're now separating us. Well, you're on this side of the curtain and I'm on this side of the curtain. I don't know. I don't like to talk to you that way. But there are some things that I see behind the scenes that are just fascinating. And I want to tell you one of the stories. It has to do with Conor McGregor. But I wanted to know it. Had I not seen that, I wanted to know it. It wasn't brought to you by camera. So go back 1 year. 1 year exactly. When Conor fights Cowboy. January 20th, 2020, Las Vegas, Nevada. If you were watching the show that night, and I don't expect you to remember this, so I'm going to attempt to refresh your memory, and if you watched the show that night, the live pay-per-view, 5 fights on the main card, traditional 5 card, they had them. 2 fights had happened. Prior to the 3rd fight, there was this huge break. Now, in the world of TV, we will call that fill. Like if I'm announcing a show and I have an earpiece and my director tells me fill, it means we have a problem. He's not going to share with me what that is. That means Chael, keep talking and keep engaging the audience. We need to fill time. We have a problem. That could be a mic's down, a camera's down, a fighter's down, a satellite's. But something has happened and we need to fill time. I bring that word to you because there was a major fill after the 2nd fight and prior to the 3rd, and nobody knew why. I'll tell you why. Conor McGregor wasn't in the building. Conor McGregor drives himself to these events. When he comes to Las Vegas, he does not go check into the fighter hotel like everybody else. He rents his own house. He brings a big team over, brings his family over, gets a big house. But then he's driving himself as well. Most athletes will report in the lobby of the hotel at said time, jump into a bus all together with your bags and your coaches and your teams and head to the arena. Come in the back gate, go in, take care of business. Conor drives himself, relevant to the story because he never got picked up. They weren't in possession of Conor. So Conor, per rules of the commission, now by rules, I don't mean that he could be fined for this. It's more of a request and everybody just meets the request. I don't know that I've ever heard of a guy not. But Conor was to report just prior to the main card going on. So his report time would be 7 p.m. Pacific time. For him to make his walk somewhere around that 9:15, 9:20 to go out there, close out the show, you're off the air by 10 o'clock. Conor doesn't show up. And this is relevant for multiple reasons. First off, there's something known as a pay-per-view window, which means the window of time reserved for all your satellites, all your technology, but it's reserved. If you go past the window, some promoter or executive producer has made a tremendous error. But you, the audience, your window will end, the feed will end, you won't see how that ends. Now, that's probably never happened to you, but it has happened throughout time on certain events that went long. So I bring that to you because they got to kick this thing off at some point. And they got to do it within their window. So you're buying time, not to mention you don't have McGregor, not to mention there's things that have to happen through the commission, a drug test, by example, the wrapping of the hands. But this is a commission. Do you guys know that? You don't just wrap your hands because your trainer doesn't sit down and the commission does that. They will bring the gauze, they will bring the tape, and they will put somebody's eyeballs on you. They will then sign it off, and you will never leave their sight. If you go to the bathroom, they will go with you. When I say they won't leave your sight, it's a very big deal, the wrapping of the hands. But they're just things that have to be done. So Conor pulls in 40 minutes before his fight. So they start the third fight. They start the fourth fight. Conor's able to walk on time, but within that 40 minutes, he takes off his suit. He looks fantastic, right? I mean, that takes a little bit to get those cufflinks off and this suit off. He somewhere does his drug test. He somehow wraps his hands, puts the cup on, finds the mouthpiece. I would guess that he warmed up. He did all of that within his music hitting those speakers, walked out, stopped his opponent, and was done and out of the arena in less than an hour. And I'm really bringing you that story because it's awesome. It's interesting. It's cool. You didn't know it. You did not know it unless you heard me tell it on Fight Pass. But I think it adds to the legend that is Conor McGregor. I mean, the fact that he could have such ice running through his veins that there was a sold-out arena waiting for him, chanting his name and waving his flag. He's somewhere on the freeway. He's not even there. He's stuck in traffic. I don't know where he was. I just know he wasn't there. It's a very interesting story, but it also speaks to the mindset. Conor McGregor is as calm and cool as can be. He will perform under pressure, and many people have asked, how will he do without the crowd? The crowd energizes Conor. I don't disagree with that, but it is not wholly true. The great athletes learn to compete and perform in spite of the crowd. The great athletes can do this in the practice room, whatever their given sport, for hours on end a day, but for very limited time when people are watching. The people are watching, and now it's a competition, and now we're keeping score, and now it's for real. There's a stress, and that stress creates a fatigue, and the fatigue allows you to do your sport for 15 to 25 minutes in this atmosphere, whereas you could have done it 90 minutes nonstop without even a water break on any given day in the practice room. So the greats don't learn to work with the crowd. The greats learn to perform in spite of the crowd. So while I wouldn't wholly argue with you that Conor needs the crowd, I suggest for you that he's learned to deal with the crowd. Not having them there, I project for you, does not make a bit of difference, at least for McGregor.